Living like a stage. Hey, hey. 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 Love yourself first, explicitly. You owe it to yourself to move with that energy. Empower your self-esteem. Self-love is king. That's the only way to win. That's how you empower your dreams. Living like a stage. Hey, hey. Living like a stage. Hey, hey. Living like a stage. Hey, hey. Living like a stage. Hey, hey.
Hey, Lifer Tribe. Happy Thirsty Thursday and welcome to Living Life with Stay. And in case you didn't already know, I'm your girl Stay. I am Stay Hall. I am a transformational speaker. I am a published author of 3 books with number 4 on its way. I am a certified soft skills and emotional intelligence coach, as well as a life coach, LYFE, love yourself first explicitly. And then I guess I'm also a YouTuber and a vlogger and all that stuff. I do a lot of stuff. And I do a lot of stuff because I have a passion for helping people and making an impact and just being able to add value wherever I can. So I thank you all for being here. I'm super duper excited. Hey, Tanisha, thank you so much for being here. Hey, Vonda, thank you so much for being here. Yes, my OG of the Lifer Tribe. Thank you so much. And yes, it is great to meet you as well, Tanisha. Thank you so much for being a part of the podcast tonight. And this is a special night. I already had a subject planned, a topic matter. I do it all the time. Y'all know I do my time blocking. And so I try to plan everything in advance. So today we are going to be talking about work, wife versus girlfriend and navigating relationship roles and those expectations. But tonight is also super duper special because we reached 700 subscribers today, officially. I actually reached 700 subscribers a few days ago, but if y'all are used to these YouTube streets and if you are a content creator yourself, you know, sometimes you reach a certain number and then the very next day or sometimes just within hours, the number goes down. They take a couple of people from you. And so you kind of have to wait a couple of days for it to kind of build up. So I think I'm like at 703, 704 or something now. So I'm like, okay, I reached over 700. So I'm going to go ahead and announce it and we're going to do the giveaway. Oh, I'm glad you got the notification. And that's what I mean. You know, it's just so funny out in these content creation streets. You just never know whether the notifications go out. Like I was talking to my girl Cece the other day and asking her about the Crawfish Kickback, which was a creator event that I didn't get to go to. And she was like, girl, I did a vlog on it. Never got anything about the vlog. So I had to actually go to her channel today, realized that my notifications were no longer on, but I was able to watch the vlog. Hey, Albert, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. Hey, Alvin, how are you? Thank y'all for tuning in. Yes, come on in, come on in. When you come in, please hit that like button because what I am manifesting, what I'm putting out there is we are going to hit that 1K by the end of June. July 1st, we're going to have 1K. So, and the way we do that and the way we got here is from y'all just continuing to share, smashing that like button, engaging with the content. That is how we continue to grow. Sharing it on your pages, whatever, letting people know, inviting them, bringing them in, because I truly believe that we have an awesome, awesome, awesome family here, an awesome tribe. And I love the energy that we bring week after week, day after day with Mindset Mondays, Tuesday with the hallway, Thirsty Thursdays, then the vlogs and the other content. It's like I'm getting to know so many different people and being able to share more and more. And so I just want to keep that momentum going. And so we are going to get into the topic tonight. Hey, Dennis, thank you so much for being here. Hey, Nikki, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so very much for being here. I really appreciate y'all. And so we just want to keep this momentum going because it's super exciting. And just the more people that we can impact with that message of self-love, self-care, self-awareness, self-esteem. That's what it's all about. And professionally, I do soft skills and emotional intelligence, but that all ties in because the better we are with our communication skills, our listening skills, the better we are with being able to relate with other people, the better we are being able to relate to ourselves, because it truly does take a village. Hey, Jamia, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. And I am so hyped and super excited tonight. I really am. I'm excited about this topic. I think it's a good topic for both men and women because when you look at it, we're saying wife versus girlfriend navigating relationship roles. And so I'll be speaking to the women a lot, but sometimes I think it is, well, all the time, I think it's good for both men and women to sit in on the conversation and get those different perspectives, those different viewpoints, because we only know what it is to be us and how we operate in life. And we don't always think about how other people may think about it. And especially if you are in a relationship, it's like, you know, you might not really realize the message that you're giving to your partner, and you might not really realize the foundation that you're setting. And so I think that it's good for men and women to be in the room and have the conversations together so that we can better understand one another. Because like I said, it's about that effective communication. It's about that emotional intelligence. And so it's just really important to me. I was in a board meeting today, and in this board meeting, we had, you know, different generations. And it was so nice to be able to sit down and hear the needs and the expectations of different generations and be able to sit at that table. I'm involved in a whole other group that's all we focus on, is how we can bridge the gap between generations, how we can effectively communicate with each other. And so I think it's the same with just men and women, being able to have these conversations, kind of listen in and be a little nosy, like what the men talking about, what those women talking about, because that's how we'll be able. That is how we will be able to communicate and understand one another, because at the end of the day, it is about understanding. It's about having those interpersonal skills. It's about, you know, being willing to learn. And so we're going to jump into the topic. If there is anybody here who you think may be able to get some nuggets from what we're talking about today, you still have time to tune in or share this with them so that they can tune in, because I really think that I'm going to be dropping some good nuggets today. And so y'all might be thinking right off the bat, Stay, what is wife versus girlfriend in the first place? And so the reason why I came up with that topic or that title for this podcast is because in my coaching career, I deal with mostly women. I think I was asked this morning when I was a guest on the Miss T Morning Show, how many of my clients are men. Well, in my whole entire career, which has been about 5 or 6 years, I've only had 3 men as far as one-on-one clients. So I have the opportunity to speak with women every day, all day. And as a life coach, it's kind of the neat thing because I'm not just a business coach. I don't coach in any specific topic or any specific area of life. I definitely am a life coach. And of course, I put my own spin on it with LYFE, Love Yourself First Explicitly, because I truly believe that any type of success that we're looking for, whether it's relationship success, business success, personal success, family matter success, it has to come from loving yourself. That is the foundation for everything, which is why I chose that acronym for my life coaching. Hey, Michelle, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. But with that being said, I speak to women every day, all day, about all different types of things that are going on in their life, different issues that they're having, different circumstances that occur, different things that they're battling with. And one of the things that I come across a lot is because, again, a lot of the women that I coach are 30 plus, and with the average range being about from the ages of 35 to 55. And so these are women who are adults. These are women who have been through a lot in their lives. These are women who have had several relationships. And sometimes at this point, they find themselves either being in a long-term dating relationship or single after having several failed relationships. And a common theme that I have seen throughout is that women by nature have a more nurturing personality most of the time. And let me just give a little caveat as far as I'm concerned. Another reason that I think that I'm really good at being able to identify these things is because I'm wired a little different than most women. And I got that from like my friends telling me that. And so I'm able to see things from a different lens. I am not necessarily that nurturing person, that mothering person that a lot of women are. And so I'm able to see things from a different lens. I'm not normally that touchy-feely, lovey-dovey, oh my gosh, it just melts my heart. I'm not the happy crier type of person, but it's really great because I'm still a woman. I still connect with women. I still understand women, but I think it gives me that lens to be able to understand men a little differently than a lot of women do. And I'm also a boy mom. You know, I have 4 sons. I didn't get my bonus daughter until, you know, they were older and I was older. So I've never raised a girl. So, hey, Dolores, thank you so much for being here, Ladybug. And so I just am able to see things from a different lens, which is great because with all the women that I deal with and have in my life, I'm able to offer them some different outlooks than maybe they would get from their other girlfriends or other coaches that they've had. And so what I run into a lot is women who have been in these long-term dating relationships, failed relationships, whatever you want to call it. And when I'm talking to them, I hear them saying things like their desire is to get married and they're not sure why they have not been proposed to, or they're not sure why whoever they're with, you know, doesn't really talk about marriage, or who they're with, you know, has maybe proposed to them, but is really dragging their feet on setting a wedding date. And I'm not talking about weeks and months. I'm talking about years. I'm talking about people who are now 45 who've been with the same person since they were 30, or somebody who is in a relationship, you know, that they maybe started at 45 and now they're turning 50 and the relationship really hasn't evolved. And so in those relationships, when I'm talking to them about their day-to-day interactions, what I notice is these women have put themselves in the position as the wife and are doing the regular things that you would do as a wife, but they're not a wife. And a lot of people don't really know what the difference is. They feel like, well, if I'm in this relationship and we're in love and we're committed with each other, to each other, why wouldn't I do all those things? And I hate to say it because it sounds like it's just like a sexual type of term when everybody says, why buy the cow when you get the milk for free? But it's not just about sex. And so I'm not condemning anybody for whenever they decide to have sex, whether it's before you get married or it's the first date or you wait till marriage. You know, if you got the 30-day rule, the 90-day rule, we're not talking about just sex. When we're talking about, in my opinion, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free, I'm talking about the entire relationship. Again, not saying that you shouldn't do things for each other, not saying that you shouldn't help each other, but it's just a lot of women jump in full throttle from the very beginning, and men get very comfortable very easy. Men are very simplistic. Like if everything is already running smooth for them and they're already getting all the things that they desire and they have not had to make that next step commitment, what is the incentive to do that? And another thing that I want women to think about when you're in these relationships and you're doing all the things, and we're going to break it down and get a little bit more detail, but I really just want to give y'all the foundation of what we're going to talk about. But the thing is, men don't like to rock the boat. We're doing all the things. They're getting what they need. And a lot of times they're like, well, why would I get married? And so whenever that happens, then you get frustrated and then things start to change. But you've never really put that expectation out there because you started doing all the things from the very beginning. And when I'm talking about all the things, it's a lot of things. You started. No, you are definitely not alone, Tanisha. You have started intermingling the finances. You have brought your kids and your extended family into the situation. You have maybe started a business with this person. I've even seen people who are in a relationship and they want to get married, because I'm not talking to the people who have no desire to get married, because again, there's no judgment here. Like, if you are fine with just living with someone, being life partners, whatever, you're not who I'm talking to. I'm talking about the women who have the desire to be married. And I think sometimes women do so much because it's almost like they feel like they're on an audition, so to speak. And y'all, and this is the thing about being live and on camera, you're constantly seeing yourself. I wish I could see y'all. We need to do Zoom. And the link is in the chat, pinned to the top. So y'all already know you are welcome to join me up here. We can create a panel if anybody has any questions for me that they'd rather say face to face than not put in the chat. If you have an experience you want to share, whatever, you know, the floor is always open. So it is. Nikki, I know, right? And I'm just constantly seeing myself because I have been out and about since I was on Miss T's show this morning. I've had thing after thing. So I'm like, I'm looking rough. I threw this headband on because the hair was out of control, but you know, whatever. But I think a lot of women perform as if they are auditioning almost. And again, no shade, nothing like that. But y'all know I'm just going to keep it 100, shoot straight from the hip. If it doesn't pertain to you, then just be like, girl, whatever. If it does pertain to you, then just be like, girl, dang. That's all. And keep it moving, because we've all been there in some way or another. But it's almost like you're auditioning. You want to show this man that you are the woman of his dreams. You want to show this man that everything he needs is right here. You got it. But sometimes you end up being team too much. And when I tell you that men can settle into that real easily, and then they figure, why rock the boat? Why spend the money on a wedding? Why are we doing all that? Everything is good now. They're afraid that things are going to change. And so, again, not saying that you shouldn't do things for people, not saying that you shouldn't be there, but you shouldn't be that accessible. And then the other thing that I see happen with women is you're in this relationship. You're not really being fulfilled. You have been in this relationship for a certain amount of time, whether it's 3 years, 10 years. Sometimes I've seen this happen 20 years. You're in this relationship, but now you're starting to see that it's not going anywhere. It's not going where you want it to go. And so now you're desiring to be in another relationship with somebody else. You're finally starting to have that thought process, but you're still afraid to leave the relationship that you're in. And what I want to tell you for sure is there is no way that you are going to be blessed with your person while you're still entertaining the wrong person. You are not going to be blessed with Mr. Right while you are still entertaining Mr. Wrong. And so many people are like, well, I know this isn't going anywhere, but they rather stick with this because they don't want to be by themselves. And it's like, unless you're trying to create a sister wife, sister husband type of situation, a threesome kind of situation, a menage a trois type of situation, where is there room for that third person? So you need to get away, do the work on yourself, be okay with being by yourself for a while, because that is when your person will come. So those are kind of the things we're going to talk about. Tanisha said, crazy. I didn't feel like that then, but I do feel like I'm auditioning now, that I'm trying to finally get it right. And that's the thing is, y'all know my triple A's, right? The triple A's. Who knows what the triple A's stand for? Anybody know what the triple A's stand for? Hey, Amanda, how are you, boo? For my seasoned life retrievers, y'all should know what the triple A's are, because Tanisha definitely needs those triple A's, and she's already done number one. So stage triple A plan for any time that you are trying to get through a situation, the number one step is you are aware. So Tanisha, your comment just let us know that you're aware. So you're already in the process of making a change. Once you're aware, then you need to hold yourself accountable. Holding yourself accountable means you're just going to actively make a plan and figure out what you can do differently to get yourself out of that mindset, to get yourself out of that situation, to get yourself out of that circumstance, whatever it is. Just hold yourself accountable and say, okay, let me make a plan. And the third A is action. So once you have become aware that there's a problem, hold yourself accountable to fix it. And then whatever that plan is you made, now it's time to take action. Because again, all of us have been there in some way or another. And yes, it is definitely okay to be alone. And being alone does not necessarily mean that you have to be lonely. And that's what I think so many people are. They are lonely. And you need to find other ways to fill that void, to fill that space. Hey, Monica, thank you so much for being here, hon. I appreciate you. Yeah, we have to make that plan. Once you're aware of something, you have to make a plan. You can't just say, I'm going to do something different. I need to do something different. What does that look like? Make the plan. Make it something that's feasible for you. And then start taking action. And so when I talk about, again, the girlfriend versus wife, it doesn't, thank you so much, Nikki. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. I just saw that. Thank you. And so what does that look like? Doing too much. Does doing too much mean that, you let him borrow your car for a couple of days when your car was broke down? No, not necessarily. You would do that for a friend, which leads me to the thing. It's doing more than you would normally do for your friend. When you are in a dating relationship, you shouldn't be doing any more than you would really do for a friend. Like if you pay for dinner every once in a while, that's fine. I totally believe that it is fine for women to pay for the date every once in a while. It's up to each individual. But if that's something you do, that's fine. If you let them borrow your car or whatever because something happened, that's completely fine. But you don't want to be to the point where you're, running over there and cooking dinner 3-4 times a week. You don't want to get to the point where you washing this man's clothes and making his doctor's appointments. You don't want to get to the point where I definitely don't believe that you need to be going to church together. That's something that, people talk about. But to me, going to church, your worship, your spiritual experience is very personal for you. And I believe that whatever your spiritual life is, you want to make sure that you're with someone and entertaining someone who is equally yoked and has the same thought process. If going to church is very important to you, then he should already have his own church. But I just don't believe it, because that kind of stuff can get messy. What happens when you break up? Now, both people are in the church and they're members of the church. They have their own relationships and, different things. I just feel like that's messy. Now, of course, relationships break up when they get married, possibly as well. But that's why I want to give y'all these tips so that we have successful, thriving relationships, like the book that Wallace and I wrote. Hey, Cece, how are you, mama? And so, yes, we have to stick to the plan, make it realistic and stick to it. You don't want to, put just stuff out there that doesn't make sense. Make it feasible, something that you can really obtain. But yeah, going to church together for me is a no-no. Inviting people, to be a part of your family experiences, to me, is a no-no. Now, once you are really serious in a relationship, it's fine to introduce that person to a couple of people in your family, but I don't think that they need to be invited to the whole family. I don't think that they need to be invited to the family reunion. Again, y'all might think that I'm crazy with some of this stuff, but this is where I think we move too fast. We dig our heels in too much. We're posting everything on social media. We booed up, we this and that, and we really don't even have a real commitment. Let's see. Wow, church. Interestingly, though, being so involved in church and obviously sinning, which is a part of the conviction now. And that's the thing too, with whatever your beliefs are. And, we all sin, we all fall short. Our sins may look different. Our sins are different, but sin is sin. And so I don't want you to condemn yourself too harshly, but I just don't believe that taking your relationship to the church is the thing to do. No, I don't believe in church together, Cece. I really don't. I really don't. Now, if you happen to meet somebody at church, that's kind of a different thing. But I just feel like that's too personal. That's married couple type of behavior. But again, I don't know if you were in here when I was saying this is definitely for those people who are looking to be married. If you are in a committed relationship and you don't want to be married, and maybe y'all are just life partners and you're sharing a home and whatever, and that works for y'all, fine. This is specifically for those people who want to be married, but find themselves in relationships that somehow never lead to that part. Because something I've also seen happen is women who have dedicated their lives, just about decades, with someone who never married them, had children with them and everything, and they desire to get married. They finally get out of the relationship, and within a year, that person marries someone else. Why? That's because that other person moved a little differently. That other person did not put themselves in that wife position. That other person had certain standards. That other person had certain things that she was not going to invest in unless she had that commitment. And I'm not telling anybody to threaten anybody. I'm not saying that you necessarily have to have ultimatums. I'm just saying that you have to move in a way that you are still single until you are married, or at least you have that promise of marriage. And again, if you don't want a long drawn out engagement, then you need to discuss that early on. So I know a lot of things I'm saying, y'all gonna be like, what? I always think that's gonna happen to train him for somebody else. Exactly. And it does. It definitely happens. And so, but the thing is how men think. They're going to do what they feel like they have to do. And if we're not feeling like they have to do it, and again, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you need to be saying every single day, when are you going to marry me? When are you going to marry me? No, you don't have to say that, but it's just about how you carry yourself and the things that you do as a single, independent woman, because it makes a difference. It truly does. And that's why it goes back to what I talk about all the time, which is having those crucial conversations up front early on in dating. Don't come on and think that just the way you act and the things that you do and how much you give him and how sweet you are, that's going to make him want to marry you. He may not have any intentions of ever getting married, which is why I feel like the older you are, the sooner you should be able to have those questions asked in a relationship. And it doesn't have to be about you. You can preface it by saying, look, I know it's early in our relationship and we're both getting to know each other and we have no idea where this is going to go. I just want to know if being married one day is a desire that you have. Do you want to one day be married? I'm not saying marry me. I just want to know if that's what you want, because that's something I'm looking for in my life eventually. That shouldn't be scary to a grown-ass man. No, that is an honest conversation where he should know right then and there, is this somebody I want to continue with, or are they wanting too much because that's not even on my radar? Let's see. You can ask him to marry you also because he could just be nervous. You never know. I did. And that's a personal choice as well. That's a personal choice. I don't like to speak. I mean, that's not my mindset to do that, but I would never tell anybody not to do it. But yeah, that's definitely, if somebody is nervous and you feel like that's what's holding them back, that's fine as well. Yeah, and you don't want to waste time, because if somebody is saying up front, no, I'm not looking to be married. Some people might say, well, I've been married twice before and I don't want to do it again. Or maybe it'll just say, I have seen so many failed relationships, marriage messes everything up. And so those are the kind of things that you want to know. I don't know if any of y'all watched the show Love is Blind on Netflix, but that's kind of what that guy ended up doing. And I'm not going to remember anybody's name, that guy and that girl. But he proposed to her. But then when they got to the altar, his thing was, oh, my parents' marriage failed. I've never seen a healthy relationship. I just don't know if I can do it. And so he left her at the altar. And so those are the kind of things that you want to talk about early on in the relationship. And then once you get that answer, If they do want to be married, then that's fine. Then you go ahead, you move forward, you have that relationship. You don't want to talk about marriage every single day, but at some point, down the line, and it's going to look different for everybody, but at some point down the line, it needs to come up again. Hey, where are you with that? Is it still something that you still desire to do? We've been doing this now for a year, and I really love you, but I want to be married one day. So what does a time frame look like? Again, those questions are the questions that women don't ask because they're afraid of the truth. And if you really want to have your quality of life, if you really want to be able to move forward in a way where you feel like you are being valued, where you feel like you are being heard and appreciated, sometimes you have to ask those difficult questions and be ready for the difficult answer. All that difficult answer is going to do is free you up to live your life the way you desire to live your life. You don't have to be afraid of that, because those hurt feelings, that heartbreak, it is not going to last forever. We've all had our feelings hurt. Thank you so much, Miss Gwen. That means so much coming from you. I appreciate you tons. But we've all gone through that. And, like they say, weeping endures for a night, but joy is coming in the morning. Your joy is going to come back. It's okay to cry. What is going to feel worse? Going through this relationship for years and sometimes decades. I'm not exaggerating when I say that, only to realize that it's never going to happen for you, or just to ask that question maybe 6 months or a year into it and move on. Because again, your person is out there, but you're staying in a relationship that person doesn't. So you have to get somewhere by yourself in order to be available for that person. It is so important for couples to candidly talk. Yeah, and I know we were on Miss T the other. I think we were on Miss T. I can't even remember where we are. I've been on these YouTube streets so much lately, which is so funny because I didn't even know YouTube had until, yeah, that's a whole different story. But I think that was talking about men don't want to talk, and all, women should just do this and that, and you don't need to discuss your feelings all the time. And I know that men are not as they don't like to communicate as much as we do. They don't like to talk about emotions as much as we do. The worst thing you can ever say to a man sometimes is, we need to talk. However, again, a mature man is not going to have a problem having a conversation every once in a while. And I think that women need to stop being so afraid of his real thoughts to ask the question. And one thing too about men, when it comes to the conversations, as women, sometimes we want to force the subject because we want to talk right now. So let me give y'all a tip. Men don't really like to talk. We've already discussed that, especially about feelings. However, a lot of times it's necessary. But what you can do to kind of give them a sense of comfort is allow them to have time to process. So if you go to your significant other, the man that you're dating, whatever, and this can work sometimes even with your sons when you have to have difficult conversations with them. It's just the male brain. They process differently. They're not necessarily ready to jump into it right now. That doesn't mean that they never want to talk to you about it. So if you can go to him and say, hey, something's been on my mind. I have a couple of questions for you, and this is something that I would like for us to sit down and talk about. And then you give that topic, whatever it is, and just say, hey, I know that you weren't prepared for this conversation right now, so I'm not going to force the issue right now. If you would like to talk about it right now, I'm available for that. But I will also respect your wishes. If you're not available to talk about it right now, just definitely keep that in your mental Rolodex and let me know when we can discuss it. Again, a mature man is going to appreciate that because now they have time to process. You haven't hit them on the spot. They have time to get their defenses down. They have time to think about why you might want to talk about whatever it is. And then you guys can reconvene when both people are prepared for the conversation. Now, I just dropped that on y'all for the free. I hope you wrote that down. I hope you processed it because it works. I'm not telling you anything that I haven't already done, because people aren't always ready for a conversation right when you're feeling that way. And especially if you're hitting them as soon as he comes in the door, or you're just calling them out the clear blue. So there's nothing wrong with you being mature enough to say, these are my feelings. My feelings are valid. I want to be heard, but I want to talk about it at a time when we're both prepared. That lets the defenses down. People don't feel like they've been put in a corner. People don't feel like they're caught off guard. What they feel like is, here's one mature individual communicating with another mature individual to talk about something that they need to talk about. Let's see. Ms. Gwen said, I agree. It's important to be ready to listen without interruption and let them express their thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Absolutely. You don't want to just hit somebody over the head with, boom, I need to talk about this. We've been together for a year. You know, you haven't proposed. You haven't even mentioned marriage since our 5th date. Like, that's just a lot. And as women, that's sometimes what we tend to do, because we've been watching the reality shows and everybody getting married, and our girlfriends is getting married. And then the people at work are like, when are you getting married? You and John been together for such and such. And so we come home or we go out on a date and it's like, look, we need to talk about this. Well, that catches people off guard. Now, all of a sudden they're on the defense. They feel like you're coming with an attitude. So again, most conversations need to be had when cooler heads prevail. I can't write fast enough. Well, you're going to have to rewind the tape. What's the best way to navigate the financial side of things when your partner is financially unstable? Well, that was another one of the points. We, in my opinion, don't need to commingle funds at all until we are married. We can discuss finances, which I believe is a must once our relationship gets to a certain stage. And again, that's different for everyone. How much do you make? How much, do you spend monthly? What are your monthly bills? How do you handle your savings? Do you have a 401k? Again, y'all might think this stuff is evasive, but we are seasoned grown folks. We need to have these conversations. If you're dating in your 40s and 50s, your mind should be set on being debt-free, being able to retire. You need to have those kinds of conversations. At that point, then you all need to decide financially, are we equally yoked? Am I okay with what this person has to offer? Are they okay with what I have to offer? Talk to them about housing situation. Do you want to buy a home together? If one of you already own a home, hey, what do you feel about, that? Would we move into my house? Do we buy another house? Those kind of conversations are conversations that grown folks need to be having in the first 6 months of exclusively dating somebody. My opinion, because I believe that if you go past 6 months and you haven't talked finances, why would you get that involved with somebody and then let the fact that maybe they only make minimum wage make the reason why you're not with them after you've already been invested, after you may have already fallen in love? Why would you do that? So you have those conversations early on. You discuss, what do you think finances look like once we're married? Because at that point, you decide whether or not you can deal with this person's instability. That's when you decide whether you can deal with the fact that they have bad credit, because those are things that you can work on without intermingling your funds. You can give them advice and maybe give them resources on how to do better with their money, how to get better credit. Let them work on that stuff before you are intermingling your funds, in my opinion. But you want to have the conversations of what that looks like. And if someone is not in the financial situation that you feel comfortable with, and you don't really see an end game for them, if they don't really have a plan, because again, I do believe in working with people, but they at least have to have their own motivation. They at least have to have, their own desire to do better, because some of us, just fall on bad times. And if it's a situational or a circumstantial thing and you feel like it's something that you can help them with and work through it, go ahead and do that. Again, to each his own. But if it's something where you're not really seeing that this person is motivated, you're not really seeing that they have any aspirations to do better, you don't really see the potential there, and this is just where that person is, if you can't deal with it, then don't deal with it. Because if you continue the relationship, all you're going to do is end up resenting them. And it's really not fair if you already knew this going in. That's why it's so important to have those conversations early in the relationship and then decide how you're going to move forward. Now, I'm not the type of person who believes that a man necessarily has to make more than a woman. I wouldn't have a problem dating a man or marrying a man who didn't make as much as me, as long as we're still able to keep up a lifestyle that's comfortable for both of us. That's not the issue. I'm not talking about the dollar amount that they make, but dollar amounts can be important to somebody. But I'm just talking about what their motivation is, what they aspire to do. Are they a hard worker? Are they willing to contribute? Are they willing to build with you? Those are the kind of things that I'm talking about. And if you're not seeing that, and you already know that that's going to be a deal breaker for you, then let it break the deal early. Don't wait until after the fact to let it break the deal. We can't have a joint checking account if not married. Absolutely not, in my opinion. I'm probably going to say in my opinion a million times. I should have gave a disclaimer in the beginning and written like, these opinions are the opinions of Stay Hall only. I'm not saying anybody has to do this. But again, you're talking to somebody who is 52 years old, 10 years into my current marriage, was already married previously for 12 years. I know the things that work and I know the things that don't work. And a lot of these mistakes that I tell y'all about are mistakes that I made in the past or mistakes that I've seen. And so I'm coming from like, we really need to have a lot more boundaries. We need to have a lot more hard passes on things, because as women, we get in that position as a girlfriend where we're accepting all this stuff as if you're a wife. And it's like, you're not married to this person yet. So why are you dealing with things that you know you wouldn't want to deal with as a wife? Why are you trying to build a mate? There is somebody out there who is perfect for you, flaws and all, because no one's perfect, but there's somebody out there who's perfect for you. And if your person is waving nothing but red flags, then that's not the person who is perfect for you. And don't feel like once you get married, these things are going to just miraculously go away, or you're going to be able to miraculously, fix all these things. All you're doing is setting yourself up for a lot of heartache, a lot of resentment, and things of that nature. And again, y'all, I want to invite you one more time to come up to the stage if anybody has anything that they want to share, any questions for me. I feel like I always have to repeat that because I talk so much, and I don't want anybody to be out there like double dutch, like I want to come up there, but she keep talking, because I'm going to keep running my mouth. But just pop up and I'll bring y'all on. But the link to the broadcast is up top. And don't forget, and don't let me forget, that we have our 700 subscriber giveaway. I will be giving away 2 prizes at the end of the broadcast, but you must be present to win. So I will be giving up two prizes. Oh, I appreciate you, V. I do. I appreciate you so much. And so again, these are just things, like I said, that I've learned, and you just don't want to set yourself up for that. I also definitely, want to warn you, if you have children, how quickly you allow your children, thank you, to be entertained in this relationship. I don't say you wait until you're married, of course, to introduce your children to people. But I feel like before you introduce your children to people, if you have a desire to be married, you should have already had that marriage conversation with them. And you should already be very, very positive that that is where the relationship is going. I would love to say don't introduce your kids until you're married, but that is not realistic, because you also kind of want to make sure that your children can build a relationship with this person. But you also should not let your children dictate who you're with, because children can be very manipulative at times. And that's when you need to use your own discernment, your own intuition, and figure out why there may be discord. And so that's a whole different show for a different day. Because I think as women, a lot of times too, we put our children first. But yeah, that's a sticky one, because hey, Casey, how are you? That's a sticky one, because again, when kids have too much input, when children have too much authority, when children are allowed to make too many decisions, they pick up on that pretty quickly, and children can be quite manipulative. And so sometimes kids just don't want to see us with nobody. And so you have to make sure that if your kids are not really feeling your relationship, that they have legitimate reasons. And most of the time, we can feel that. And that's something else that we do as women. Sometimes we'll force the relationship, even though we know, and then, and so that's something that you have to be careful with. Cece, if things go south, then it's a race to the bank. Yeah, absolutely. Because with those joint bank accounts, both people have equal access. Thank you, Casey. I appreciate you. But you do want to be, very careful with how soon you introduce your kids and how soon you make it a family. And so that's the part of girlfriend versus wife. When you do introduce your kids into the relationship, introduce your kids into the relationship with that being your friend. Don't try to make a family before you have that commitment. Have your kids involved in the relationship very minimally. Don't make it seem like every time y'all are the kids have to be around. And until you have that commitment to marriage, there is no need for this person to be staying the night at your house with your kids home. I know y'all don't get me, but y'all can have your time outside of the kids. Maybe having them over for dinner once in a blue moon. Again, the same thing that you would do with a regular friend. Y'all your house in the morning. To me, that's too much cleanup on aisle 6 when something goes wrong. Now your heart is broken and your kid's heart is broken. And then what are you teaching your children with this? What could appear to be a revolving door. And there's nothing wrong with a grown woman dating as many men as she wants to date. And when things aren't right, you move on. And that's why you don't bring your kids in it, because kids don't understand adult situations. And so they'll end up processing that as adults and feeling like, oh yeah, well, you can just have people around. And so you want to be careful. Introducing your kids to somebody is different than having that person being a part of their life. Hey, how are you, Lisa J? So good to see you, boo. And so you want to be careful with that. And the same with family and friends. Now, when I say not having this person to family functions and things, if you're bringing this person as your date, you're invited to a wedding, you're invited to a graduation, this person is just escorting you, that's one thing. But I'm talking about the coming over for Christmas dinner, the real family things that are going to be more intimate, where it's the sitting around the table and sharing stories, where this person has the ability to build relationships with other people. Hey, J3, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Yes, road to 1K. Yes, road to 1K. I'm so excited. But you don't want to have this person come into those kind of relaxed family settings. Everybody's just kicked back, talking about things. Because first of all, we all know sometimes our family members get loose lips and want to run their mouth too much and talk about our old relationships and bring stuff up trying to be funny. Hey, Tampa, thank you so much for being here. And sometimes they want to ask that person too many questions. They want to get too involved. And again, it's your relationship. And I know that we get excited when we're in a new relationship and we're feeling happy and you're feeling like it's going to last forever. And so you bring this person in, but that can be disastrous. This is your relationship. And so you want to build the relationship with you and that person. You also want to have a relationship where you have an understanding about how to act when you're around my family, what's okay to talk about, what's off limits. Because again, our families can be crazy sometimes. Thank you so much, Tampa. I appreciate you. I definitely do. Yeah, it has been a long journey, but definitely well worth it. So I appreciate you so much. I'm love seeing the growth for all of us out in these YouTube streets. But yeah, you just want to make sure that you keep those relationships separate until you really know what's going on, because that can be a disaster. It really can. And a lot of times we just share too much about our relationships too early on. That's why I say everyone needs to be in therapy. Everyone needs to have some sort of coach, somebody that you have that is in your life in an intimate way that you can trust, that is not attached to everyone else in your family. Your therapist is who you should be running by the red flags that you might see in your relationship. Your coach is who you should be going with on how to navigate your relationship and different things. Long gone are the days where you have to go to your sister and your mama and your auntie for everything, because as much as we love them, they were only able to carry us to a certain level in life. Once you become a grown adult and you become your own person, you need to start seeking that advice outside, because that's when you can deal with somebody who knows you intimately, because we don't share every single thing with our mom and our sister and our aunties, at least most of us. And so you need to get that advice from people who you really know. And the thing is, people who don't really know other parts of your life. And the thing is, once we start talking too much to our family about somebody, especially in a negative way, and then maybe we work things out and things change, their opinion is still the same. So then they start looking at us or saying to us, "You stupid. It couldn't be me. I can't believe you still with him after all this," because it is up to you how far you want to take a relationship, what things you're willing to go through. And you don't need that from somebody else. Again, those are the things for your therapist. And now they mad at the person and rolling their eyes and, well, he ain't invited to this and that. And so that's the thing. You don't want to be going through that kind of stuff. Let me see. Vonda said, for us 50 plus, it feels like the dating pool is small and you find yourself settling for things you might not have when you were younger. How do you feel about that? Well, I feel like the dating pool is small simply because a lot of us don't open our horizons. I think some of us still are sticking to lists that we don't need to stick to. I was talking about it on another broadcast where I was saying, if you've never dated out of your race before, maybe it's time to start, experimenting with dating out of your race. If you've never dated anybody younger than you before, even if it's 10, 12 years younger, because, if you're 50 years old, what is wrong with dating somebody who's 40? Like, the age gap means less and less the older you get. If you haven't dated anybody older, there are some older men out here, 65, 70 years old. I was in a room with a couple of them today. They still out here doing their thing, living life. Like, just opening your horizons and not staying in that small box, because I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're worried about what other people think, or we're just afraid of that new experience. I also think the financial piece can be a part of that. Not necessarily that you want somebody who you have to carry, not that you want somebody who's not ambitious, but if you find a stable man who's not necessarily that six-figure corporate America Fortune 500 guy, but he has a steady job, he has his benefits, he has his own car, his own place, he's living a life, because everybody is not into money as far as the abundance of money. Some people are good just living that Theo Huxtable regular life where they're able to pay their bills, they do the little things that they like to do, but they're stable in their own right. We need to maybe entertain those kind of guys, because if you're already living in your house and you're able to pay your bills and you're able to travel, adding somebody to that is still an addition, as long as y'all have an understanding. So I'm like, don't overlook the construction worker guy. Don't overlook the garbage man. Don't overlook the teacher. Don't overlook the policeman just because in your mind you wanted this, Fortune 500 suit and tie guy. And so I think a lot of the dating pool is us limiting ourselves to the pond when there's an entire ocean out there that might look a little different, sound a little different than we thought. Don't be afraid to entertain the guy who's a little shorter than you. Don't be afraid to entertain the guy who's a little overweight. Don't be afraid to entertain the guy who's balding or whatever, because all of those things are superficial. You want to find somebody who loves you, who pours into your life, somebody who respects you, somebody who has motivation, someone who has aspiration, someone who is stable in their own right, not necessarily meaning that they're a millionaire, but they have been maintaining on their own. And that's what I think would help us a lot when it comes to this dating pool. Let me go in the chat. Okay, it looks like everybody is just saying hello. And I hope I didn't miss saying hello to anybody. And so I really want us to be able to broaden those horizons, because again, we end up acting like wife and sometimes mother to these men who have no desire to take the relationship any further. And we haven't moved on because we don't want to be alone, or we haven't met anybody who checks all the boxes. But the thing is, you're staying in a relationship that doesn't check your boxes anyway. So what are you really gaining? And so those are the things that you want to think about, whenever you're spinning your wheels in these relationships. And another conversation that's important to have is the conversation about children. If you don't have children, or if you do have children, if you want to have children, you want to talk to somebody about, children. If they have children, you want to know what their relationship is with their children. What is their relationship with their ex? What is the relationship with the mother of their children, their ex-wife? It's really important to know those things. So many people talk about finding a man who loves and respects his mother. Now, I'm going to say something that's probably going to blow y'all mind about that. Just because somebody is a mother, hey, Chris, does not mean that she is this wonderful joy of a person. If your significant other, or the guy that you're dating or entertaining, does not have a good relationship with the mother, then I would behoove you to ask why. They don't necessarily have to give you all the details, but if they are willing to talk about it, then you need to listen and not count somebody out just because they do not have a good relationship with their mom. This is kind of off the subject a little bit, but the same, because what I hear from most women who complain about mothers, it's them complaining about men who have too close of a relationship with their mom, men who only talk about their mom, men who put their mom first all the time. But then on the other hand, people are always saying, if you want to find a good man, look at his relationship with his mom. You want a man who has a healthy relationship with his mom. And healthy means he loves and respects his mother. But guess what? His mother loves and respects him as well. Let me say that again for the ones in the back. He loves and respects his mother, but his mother loves and respects him as well. A man who is just all about mama, 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 that's going to be a little bit difficult. It's hard to compete with somebody's mama. And also, if a man doesn't have a good relationship with his mother, don't just take it for granted that, oh, he must have an issue with women, or he doesn't know how to respect women. How does a man not have a good relationship with women? Again, just because somebody's a mother doesn't mean that they're a good person. It doesn't mean that they know how to love and respect their adult children. It doesn't mean that they have not caused trauma in that man's life. So have those conversations. The important relationship to me, far beyond the mother, is what kind of relationship does he have with the children and the mother of his children. And again, the mother of his children could be bat crazy. I almost cussed. I think I cussed earlier. I'm sorry, y'all. But she could be crazy. However, he should be able to co-parent with her without having to deal with a whole lot of shenanigans. And if she is that crazy, he should be in the court system seeing what he needs to do to be able to have a relationship with his children. Be very, very leery of a man who does not have a relationship with his children, or who is not fighting to have a relationship with his children. A man who can just walk away and not deal. I don't understand for the life of me how women can have a relationship, have children with, and move on forever with a man who has other children and they're not a part of the family. Now, that might look different for everybody. You may not have this perfectly blended family, but he at least needs to have a relationship with his children. He needs to talk to his children on a regular basis. He needs to be interested in what they have going on in their life. He needs to be, paying attention to what they're doing in school and sports and things like that. Again, just my opinion, because anybody who can just walk away from their children and not have a relationship and not want to be able to pour into their children emotionally, financially, physically, with his time, then that is going, how then when he treats you, and this is somebody who he has had a part in creating, A man who can walk away from his children will walk away from you just as easy. Absolutely. Because if he's walked away from his children, I don't care how crazy he say the baby mama is. There are ways to still have a relationship with your children, and you need to do that. And so I definitely believe that, rather than, because society, and especially in our culture, they say all the time, look at the relationship with his mama. I ain't caring too much about that relationship with his mama. If he has children, that's the telltale sign. Yes. Well, thank you. Amen from J3. I know I'm on the right track. But yeah, having a relationship with his children. And that's why, with my husband and myself, when we first got together, it was not important necessarily is for me to have a relationship with his children, which that is great. That's the bonus. That's the icing on the cake. But I knew early in our relationship, they might reject me. They might not want, somebody else, with their dad, whatever. But what I loved was the relationship he had with his children. That's what was most important. So you definitely want to pay attention to that. And then if he doesn't have children, just having that conversation of, if you want to have children, what are your thoughts on raising children? What does that look like for you? All of those kind of things, because you don't want to go in a relationship just assuming that you all feel the same thing about certain subjects. That's awesome. That's definitely awesome, Chris. But that is unfortunately not the case for everybody. And so I just don't like to see people being judged by that relationship, because that's just the thing. And I think I talked about it when we talked about what makes a good mother. People will try to make other people feel bad, based on their relationship with their mom. And, people put out there, a mom is your best friend. If you have a mom, you're so blessed. And, you'll make sure you call your mom, because one day you're going to, but again, everybody doesn't have the same relationship with their mom. And that's not necessarily a relationship that you're able to control, but your kids, especially when they're younger, I feel like the onus is on you to be able to make that relationship as best as you can. Hey, Tigsy, thank you so much for being here. Hey, Kelly, thank you for joining us as well. I appreciate you so much. Another thing that I want to talk about, as far as, the girlfriend role versus the wife role, is you building relationships with his family too soon. A lot of women get in relationships, and the first thing that they want to do is build relationships with his mom and his sister, and they feel like that is the way in. Girl, leave them people alone. They not your friends, at least right now. That is not important. That is not going to be the way in. You don't need them all up in your business. You already got your friends, no new friends. There is no need to be all super close with Miss Barbara right now. Be cordial with Miss Barbara. Be polite with Miss Barbara. But that whole, calling the mama, going out with the mama, quit building these relationships outside of the relationship that the two of you have. Of course, being cordial, being polite, sending a Merry Christmas text or something like that. But don't start calling these people's mom, mama. It's Miss Barbara. Like, don't get so entrenched in the family, because it can cause problems on Cece, that's your mom's name, Miss Barbara. Oh, that is too funny. That is too funny. But you get involved in these relationships, and it can cause problems on so many levels. Let's talk about the positive part of it. You get in a relationship with Miss Barbara. Miss Barbara is your girl. Now it doesn't work out with you and Joe. So you and Joe are no longer together, and now you're still friends with Miss Barbara. Now you end up being with Tim. And so now you're with Tim, but you still friends with Joe's mom. Like that's too weird. Like, it causes a lot of issues. It's also, Miss Barbara is your best friend until you and Joe get into it. Now she want to cuss you out. Like, you don't want that much access to the sisters, to the mom. Again, being cordial, being polite, be friendly, but you don't have to be friends. All right, see, I'm getting all these amens from J3. I'm about to pass the plate, y'all, in a second. Truth be told, Miss Barbara really don't like you. She's just too polite to say so. Yeah, and you just never know. Now, again, once you have that commitment, once you're married, and again, I'm only talking about people who desire to be married. This is going to look a lot different for people who don't desire to get married. You're going to move a little differently. But I'm saying if that's your desire, then you want to keep yourself as behind the scenes with everybody except for you and him until you know that's what it's going to be. Because the more people you involve in the relationship, the more difficult it's going to be if you don't work out. Now you breaking up with a bunch of people. Now a bunch of people know your business. And I just feel like one of the things we do is we jump in there, we're playing the wife role, we're going shopping with the mom, we're doing all these things, feeling like now that I've, put my foot in the pool and now that I dove all the way in, oh, it's going to be permanent because his mama going to make him marry me. No, that's not how that works. That is his mama. And she may feel like he's dragging you along. She may feel like he's not treating you right. She may feel like your marriage material. She may be telling him every day you need to marry this girl. But at the end of it all, that is still his mama. And he is grown and she can't make him do nothing that he don't want to do. And so it's all these intertwining of things that should be when we have at least the idea of permanency before we do it. And so intertwining the money, intertwining the business, intertwining the relationships, intertwining the families. You need to wait on doing that. Don't be a girlfriend and having yourself involved in all those things. How do you backtrack if you've already done those things? That's a tough one, CC. I mean, the short answer is just backtrack, just stop, and I know that might be a little bit difficult. If it has to do with the relationships, Wallace says it best, you could do the phase out, where if you're talking to somebody on a regular basis, if you're talking to his mom all the time, just start slowly but surely cutting back how much you talk to her, or just don't go any further than it's already gone. It's kind of hard once you've already done certain things. If it's the financial piece of it, then, it's just some things. I mean, things can be undone, but now you have to have other conversations. And so I believe that just about everything can, be dealt with a conversation. If you want to have that big girl conversation and just say, hey, these are some things that I've done that I just feel like I shouldn't have at this point in our relationship. And it's not that I'm not trusting the relationship. It's not that I don't want to see where we're going to go. It's just that I feel like maybe we moved a little too quick in some things. So, conversations are difficult to have. And that's why I like to do this kind of stuff to help people before they go there. But a lot of things, even if you have done it, you can bring it back. It just makes it a little bit more difficult. And it makes it, now you have to have a different crucial conversation than you did before. So it just depends. Hey, Miss Shirley, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. So I hope that helps, CC. But yeah, it's just, having a different, difficult conversation. And so, because things can be undone and you have the right, to change your mind at any time. You have the right to say, look, this is what it was okay with me then. It's not okay with me now. I've just thought about it more. I've just processed it more. And I just want to kind of take things a little bit slower, And so having those conversations is key at any point, because just because you thought something was okay yesterday doesn't mean that you have to think that it's okay today. But again, just kind of thinking things through before you get into the situation is always the best. But, we all make mistakes. And sometimes, you don't know what you don't know. You're welcome, boo. You are welcome. So we want to think about intertwining those relationships. So when it comes to certain things, church is a no-no. The family gatherings, unless it's something formal where you're just bringing this person as a date, are a no-no. The 3-4 times a week with your kids is a no-no. The waking up in the morning with your kids in the house is a no-no. Having them come to your kids, soccer game and all that kind of stuff is a no-no. Whenever they're around your kids, it should be a thing where it's just a meetup. Hey, we're going to go have ice cream with Mr. Such and such, whatever. You want to make sure that you do that. Another thing that I want to talk about as far as kids is, I know it's different for everybody, but what you have kids call people First name, that's up to you. I never let my kids call any adult by their first name. It's always Mr. or Miss or, whatever. And some of my friends, they even call auntie because we've been friends that long. But as far as your kids calling somebody dad, I don't believe that your kids should be calling anybody dad unless you're married, period. They should not be calling your boyfriend, your fiance, dad. Names can change. Just like my name was Stay Huey. Now it's Stay Hall. You don't have to keep the same name. So Mr. Joe can be Mr. Joe until we get married, and that can change. Your kids never have to call him dad, which leads me to the next thing, but definitely should not be calling him dad if y'all ain't married. But when you do get married, my suggestion is have the kids decide what they want to call him. Don't just tell the kids, this your pappy now. That's not cool. That is something that is very intimate for children. Even if they haven't had a dad in their life or anybody to call dad, they may still have that longing and their yearning for their real father or whatever. I just don't believe that you should have kids calling dad, and you should be able to be with somebody who understands that. Just let the kids know, Mr. Joe and I are getting married on such and such a day. When we become married, my last name is now going to be his last name. I really want for us to be a family. Mr. Joe is fine with y'all calling him dad if that's what you want to do. But if you don't, that's okay too. Just wanted you to know that you do have that option. Some kids would be dying to do that, to call him dad. Other kids may not. And just like I tell y'all, I believe that we have to be very careful. And I know sometimes the things I say are contradictory. I feel like in our society, we give kids way more choices than they need to have with a lot of things. But then there's other things I feel like we need to give them choices, that things that we were forced to do when we were younger. I don't believe that kids need to hug everybody, give everybody a kiss, go sit on everybody's lap if they don't feel comfortable with it. But at the same time, when it comes to something that's going to be permanent in their life and something that really doesn't make a difference, it doesn't affect their safety or their emotions, we should be able to give them a choice. Because just because we've decided to make this man our husband does not mean that they're willing yet to have them as their dad. That doesn't mean that they're not supposed to respect him. It doesn't mean that they're not supposed to be polite. It doesn't mean that they shouldn't at least try to build some kind of relationship, but let them do their thing in their own time. Just because you are ready to be fully entrenched, fully engulfed in this relationship does not mean that they have to be fully entrenched. As long as the respect is there, as long as everybody is cordial and comfortable, let them work out their relationship in their own time. My adult daughter said she will say that's my mom's man. That is too funny. It ain't nothing wrong with that either. My thing is just about the respect level, because you never know. You never know. Oh, thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate you. I definitely do. I appreciate all of y'all. Yeah, you just never know. And I just hate to see kids being forced into something or made to feel that their feelings aren't valid. Maybe it's just because they ride or die for their daddy. And that's fine. As long as they respect Mr. Joe, that's fine. But that leads me to another thing. Mr. Joe don't need to be disciplining your kids. Not at all. And when you're married, that's something y'all need to discuss. I also believe that the discipline of the kids, depending on your relationship with their biological father, should be discussed amongst the three of you. But for Mr. Joe just to come in because they're kids and think that he is, running the roost. No, we don't need to do that. And again, that's something that I see with women who are dating. And now all of a sudden there's a man around and Mr. Joe is laying down the law. No, that can be very, very traumatic for kids. And so Mr. Joe needs to let you know when something's going on with the kids. And then you tell the kids, hey, y'all need to respect Mr. Joe, or don't be thinking you can do this just because he's there. Mr. Joe's going to let me know, and I'm not okay with y'all misbehaving around him. Again, these are things that you need to do gradually. And if you are getting married, or if this person is going to be in your life permanently, then it's a conversation that needs to be had through all three. And I know that's perfect world scenario. Sometimes exes don't want to entertain a conversation with the new person at all, but perfect world scenario, if at all possible, let your ex. I believe that it's more important for your ex to meet who you're dating than it is for your mom to meet who you're dating, depending on the circumstances and the relationship that you have. In co-parenting, and maybe we'll do a different show on that a different day, it's very, very important to still respect that other parent. Don't all of a sudden cancel them out because you got a new man. No, that's still those kids' parents. He still deserves, or she still deserves, to know who's in their kids' life, get their own feel for them. Again, not if they're just like, no, I don't like them, but if it's somebody who's reasonable, because those are the things that make it less chaotic in the long run. And so again, I'm just telling y'all things that I know and what I've seen, in just ways that you can just cut down on a lot of discord in the long run if you just take some of these steps and some of these tips ahead of time, because that's how, you can kind of weed certain things out before it gets too far gone. Have those conversations, make the introductions that are necessary, stop making the unnecessary introductions, build your relationship, have the conversations. And I think that is so important. And I think that will just keep us from bumping our heads unnecessarily and staying in things way too long. If you have the conversations, you ask the questions, you let people know what your desires are in life, then maybe you can only spend 3 months in a relationship that's not going anywhere instead of 3 years and sometimes 30 years. Because at this age, we are who we are for the most part. We're only changing if it's something that's intentional and something that we're really working on. We're not just going to change just because somebody told us to. But people will show you their true colors when you start asking some questions. So I hope that I have been able to drop some insight. I hope that I've helped someone. I just don't want to see y'all wasting your time. I don't want to see you selling yourself short. I don't want to see you living a life that you don't desire to live, living a life that wasn't created for you because you're creating your own roadblocks. And I don't want to see you living in a life of fear of rejection or fear of being lonely. So therefore, you don't want to ask the questions. You don't want to have the conversations. Hey, Felicia, how are you over there? Good to see you. I'm so sorry. And Richard is over there. Monica is over there. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. YouTube and Facebook don't always play well together. And I just got y'all on the small screen today. Hey, Jocelyn. Hey, Neek. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had so many people over there on Facebook. But y'all know, if y'all want to make sure that you're in the conversation in real time, you can always jump over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, because sometimes I get so locked in, I forget to look on the other side. So I do apologize, but I appreciate you all just the same. But always feel free to jump over YouTube so that I can make sure that I see y'all in real time. But yeah, we can save ourselves a lot of heartache, a lot of wasted time, a lot of feelings of resentment, a lot of money on therapy for those extensive sessions where we got to go 3 times a week if we just kind of plan, think ahead. If you're in a new relationship, please use some of these steps. If you're still out in the dating world, use some of these steps. Talk about stuff early on. Don't completely get yourself into it. Don't start doing that man's laundry, cooking all his meals, letting him borrow money, going into business with him. Don't do all that stuff, because you are not his wife. And again, once he gets used to something, he's going to be like, well, why would I do that? Why am I going to do that? Because marriage can be scary. And so if you've let somebody, he might have came into it thinking he was going to get married, but you done jumped in with both feet. He's like, why would I do that? So yeah, again, I appreciate y'all. And we are going to get into this giveaway. And I can't believe nobody joined me up here today. I just knew y'all was going to have a lot to say. So I'm just going to take that I was just dropping so many nuggets. Y'all said I'm just going to sit back, relax, and enjoy this. That's what I am going to take it as. So the first thing that I want to give away is a copy of my book, Running for Your Life, a weekly devotional for today's resilient woman. However, I know we have men on here. Wallace has read this cover to cover. He definitely feels like anybody can benefit from this, because self-love is universal. All of us need self-love. Also, if you have a woman in your life, if a guy wins this, gift this to her. It is a great gift. Let me see. I got a nuggets drop. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Single people topic. Yes, absolutely. Or people in new relationships say you were dropping them bombs. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate this. Okay. So what we are going to do is the giveaway right now. Let me share my screen and y'all can start putting in hashtag the hallway. And that is what is going to, I think that's what I made it. Yeah. Hashtag the hallway. So let me share the screen. Y'all know I'm tech challenged. Oh, I thought I got rid of y'all. Hold on. Share screen. Okay. Are y'all seeing the screen? Giveaway tool, share. And we are going to let it run. Once we get some entries in here, hashtag the hallway. Let me know. Can y'all see that on the screen? Yeah, y'all can see it. Y'all can see it. Make sure you put it all together. Hashtag the hallway. Hashtag the hallway. And then once you get this, make sure the hallway is all together like it is on the screen. You don't have to do the capital letters, but just make sure it's all together. I see a couple of people put spaces, but make sure that if you do win this, that you are willing to give me your government name and mailing address, because I have to mail it to you. If you're apprehensive about giving your mailing address or your government name, then I'm not going to be able to get the book to you because we have to mail it. So hashtag the hallway. And I will, and all you have to do is email it to me. And my email address is always in the description box of the video. And so we'll give it one more minute. Uh-oh, some people joined at the last minute. And I think you have to be on YouTube. I'm not really sure. Maybe not, because let me see. Yeah, I think you may have to be on YouTube to enter. So anybody who is on Facebook, let me see. Hopefully it'll go in. Hopefully it will go in. All right, we're going to give it one more minute. I love doing giveaways. And this giveaway is for the 700 subscribers. Thank you all for growing this channel with me. It definitely was not by myself, because I wouldn't have a channel without y'all, because I wouldn't have anybody to talk to. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. And we are on that road to 1K. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, y'all. Okay, we're going to draw. Thank you, Cece. Let's see who our winner is. Cece. Woo! Yes, Cece is our winner. Congratulations, Cece. That is so awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations. Just go ahead and email me your address, girl, and I will get this in the mail to you. Let's do another one. We are going to do another giveaway. This one is going to be a little bit different. This next giveaway is going to be for a complimentary 1-hour life coaching session with your girl, Stay Hall. And that is really, really awesome, because I charge money for that. So I'm giving it to you for the free. This is just a 1-hour session, because normally my complimentary sessions are just 20 minutes. So this is a 1-hour life coaching session where I can help you with whatever it is that you're working with. If it's relationship stuff, you want me to help you on one-on-one. If it's something in business, you know, anything in my wheelhouse. Like if you're trying to build a spaceship, I won't be able to help you with that. But, you know, anything else, I'm your girl. So y'all just put in hashtag Stay Hall, and that way you will win. And it's via Zoom. So we'll just do a 1-hour session via Zoom life coaching session. So just put in hashtag stay hall and we can have that 1 hour session. So let's get it in there. Let's see. Miss Gwen said, from someone married 50 plus years and a trained marriage counselor, this was a rich conversation. Oh, thank you so much, Miss Gwen. Oh my gosh, y'all don't know. Miss Gwen is amazing. So for her to say that, and in her profession, yes, thank you so much. Teegsy said my name is on that. Yes, y'all put in that hashtag stay hall. Oh, wait, y'all. It's my bad. I didn't even start collecting the names. Start collecting comments. Okay, y'all, now start. Hashtag stay hall. Okay. If you already put it in again, because I was running my mouth and wasn't collecting them yet. Hashtag stay hall, just like it is on the screen. And this is for a one-on-one, 1 hour coaching session with your girl, Stay Hall. And we can just talk about whatever it is that you feel like I can help you with. So I do a lot of business coaching. I do a lot of emotional coaching. I do a lot of public speaking coaching. I do a lot of writing and publishing coaching, relationship coaching. So whatever it is, we will talk about it. You will definitely choose the topic. I will send you an intake form. You'll fill it out so that I'll already know what you want to talk about, what your goals are. And in that way, I can do what I need to do. Thank you, Cece. I just got your text with your address. Thanks, girl. I will do what I need to do to help you reach that next level of success. And then after that 1 hour, if you would like to take it further, then I can let you know how we can do that. Normally, my life coaching, I do 6-week coaching programs with people, but some people, just need that hour to get a kickstart. But again, if you want to take it further, we can definitely do that. And it would be via Zoom for an hour. And I'll send you a couple of different dates that you can choose from. So I won't just give you one date because I know that we're all busy. So I'll have about 3 different dates and times that you can choose from. And we will jump on a Zoom and do a life coaching call. I'm excited about that. So we're going to give it 1 more minute since I wasn't collecting them at first. Hashtag stay hall. This is so exciting, y'all. Seeing that 700 today, I was like, oh my goodness. So I really am counting on y'all to help me to this road to 1K. Tell your sisters, your cousins, your aunties, your coworkers, your colleagues. Tell them they need to be over here, part of the Lifer Tribe. All right, let's see. Let's see who is going to win this one. Draw. Michelle, woo! Congratulations, girl. Congratulations. 1 hour, one-on-one life coaching with your girl, Stay. That was so exciting. I love doing one-on-one. So Michelle, if you can just send me your email address, I will send you an intake form that'll just ask you a couple of brief questions so that you will know, so that I'll know what it is that you want to dive into for that 1 hour, whether it's business, personal, whatever it is. We can talk about it. I can help you start your triple A's, accountability. Look, why do I forget my triple A's? Awareness, accountability, and action. So that's what we'll be working on for that hour. So thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank y'all for the 700 subscribers. And I'm going to do probably another giveaway on Tuesday when Wallace and I are on, still celebrating the 700. But who knows, by Tuesday, when I come back on with Wallace for the hallway, by Tuesday, we might be to 800 because I know, y'all going to help this girl, but I want to be able to celebrate this 700 milestone with him as well. So I'll be back on with Wallace on Tuesday. I don't know if everyone saw the post. I put it in my community tab as well as on other social media, but we have changed the schedule just a little bit. I'll still be here with y'all every Monday at 7 for Mindset Mondays and every Thursday at 7 for Thirsty Thursdays. But Wallace and I have changed the hallway to Tuesday And so we will be doing Tuesdays with the hallway at 7 o'clock because Mondays were just, Sundays were just a little bit, we were always conflicted and double booked. Tuesday, 1K. Thank you. I like that, J3. I love the way you think. Yes, Tuesday will be the 1K. But yeah, when Wallace and I come back on Tuesday with the hallway, we're going to do another giveaway because I love doing giveaways and I appreciate y'all so much. I already have CC's address. So Michelle, just make sure you send me your email address if you haven't already. And we can get that started with the one-on-one coaching. But I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed this live as much as I did. Oh, good. So Nikki did. Great live stream. Yes, thank you so much. It's really been fun. I love being able to share with y'all. I know I said some things tonight that are a little unorthodox, a couple of things where y'all like, really? Because y'all really was thrown by that not going to church together thing. But again, I'm only telling you things that I feel like will help you navigate these relationships a little bit easier. So not saying that it is, yes, Wallace, you're too late. You can't win. You can't win. But not saying that everything I say is a hard and fast rule, but like Wallace and I say, it's not necessarily the only way and not necessarily the way for everyone, but it's just the hallway. And so since it worked for us, we feel like it may work for someone else. And we're just sharing what we know. And welcome, Tanisha. Thank you so much for being here and engaging. And thank you so much for subbing to the channel. I look forward to seeing you in the future. I really, really appreciate you so much. Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate you as well. You know, I appreciate and love each and every one of you. And y'all know the drill. Always be kind and always love one another. But don't forget to live your life, LYFE. Love yourself first explicitly. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.
Living life is gangsta. Hey, hey. 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 Love yourself first, explicitly. You owe it to yourself to move with that energy. Empower your self-esteem. Self-love is king. That's the only way to win. That's how you empower your dreams. Living life is gangsta. Hey, hey. Living life is gangsta.